Welcome. If you're here, it's because you're a visionary or a founder or a visionary founder, and you see yourself as a creative force who knows there's more to business than hustle and hype. And yes, sometimes even the most brilliant leaders find themselves in chaos wondering, why does this still feel so hard? That's exactly what the Pharos Effect is designed to solve. In this short video, I'm going to share the lighthouse metaphor, and it's literally Pharos means lighthouse. It was, in fact, the actual literal first known lighthouse in history, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. They called it Pharos. And our business, our mission, and our model are all built on this idea that every founder deserves a guiding light, a way to navigate growth without losing themselves in the storm. And really, truly, if you look at it, most businesses aren't failing because they lack effort. They're struggling because they're sailing without a map. They don't have any navigational guide or tools. So I'm going to introduce the Pharos Effect model here, and then we're going to do some more detail. But the three core pillars at the heart of everything we do at Pharos and the heart of the Pharos Effect are these three interlocking forces. And we believe in it so strongly, it's even in our logo. Those three forces are insight, clarity, growth. So really, truly, insight at the heart of it. This is where most businesses don't focus, and this is what we focus on starting. Insight is seeing what truly matters. There's an old saying that if Abraham Lincoln had 3 or 4 hours to chop down a tree, he'd spend most of that time sharpening his axe and then actually chopping the tree down. So we want to get really clear on what matters. Now, once we have that insight and we know what matters, then with clarity, we're turning that insight, we're structuring it into focused strategic action. And if you think about it, Sun Tzu has a famous quote, I'm going to get wrong, but basically, strategy without action is the slowest path to defeat, and tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. So, sorry, I think the slowest path to victory, strategy is the slowest path to victory, tactics only is the noise before defeat. So we're giving you the insight and the clarity so that you know what to do, and then you have the steps to do it. And only then, once we've mastered insight and clarity, then we look at growth, where you're expanding sustainably without losing your soul. And I think a lot of people want to skip to growth, but without a little bit of insight and clarity, that growth can kill you or really, really torture you. And our goal is that when we align all these three, you step into what we call the Pharos effect, which is a rhythm of business that feels like freedom. There's a lot of noise about here's how you sell your business, here's how you escape from it, here's how you manage this. We believe that we should design our businesses to fit us, not adapt ourselves to fit our business. Now, along the way, most founders will encounter one of three perils, and these are what they encounter before they reach the Pharos effect, and usually they end up caught in one of these three. So if you're fogbound, you know the problem, you have a plan, but growth isn't coming, and really truly you can't see your path forward. Or two, you're drifting, you're active and growing, but it doesn't feel quite right. It might feel a little directionless. It might feel like it's more struggle than it needs to be. It might feel a little disjointed. That's the peril of drifting. And then most founders I know have gone through this, and I've been there. You can hopefully relate. I call it storm tossed as the third peril. And in this, you have insight and ambition, but no structure, and you're just working really hard and you feel like you're not accomplishing anything. It's exhausting and literally a recipe for burnout. I just want you to know that these aren't flaws. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your business. They're just natural patterns that we all cycle through. And some people get through them faster. Some people get through them slower. Our job, we take the lighthouse analogy seriously. Our job is to guide you through the perils so that you can navigate safely to shore. Now, the way we do this, we have a 5-stage growth cycle that we call Alice. And Alice is just a fun little mnemonic so that we can remember it. And the goal of Alice is to navigate out of the perils and into the Pharos effect. We use our Alice cycle in each of insight, clarity, and growth. So first thing we do for insight, first thing we do for clarity, first thing for growth is assess. And here we want to understand, who do we serve? What do we offer? Why does what we do matter? And we look at this through those 3 lenses of insight, clarity, and growth. Now, under L is for lead. And what we do with our clients is we co-create your direction. It's not a prescription, but really a plan with permission. So we're helping you figure out what the priorities are and how you can go with the flow of the ocean. I is for implement, and here this is where you act and we support. You build momentum without chaos. And C is for calibrate. This is where we monitor, we adjust, maintain. So we understand where we're going, we understand the metrics to measure our success, our progress, and we're constantly adjusting. I once heard Tony Robbins say that a flight from LA to Hawaii is off course 95% of the time. I would agree with that and say that's probably closer to 99% of the time for business, but it's a question of being a little off course and adjusting versus being way off course and getting worse. So we want to calibrate and bring you back to remind you of what your North Star is, and we want to remind you how you will move forward. And then the final stage of growth is enhance. And honestly, I think this is where a lot of visionary entrepreneurs, they never make it to this. So E is for enhance, and the goal is to optimize and elevate. This is where we find your next edge. And in our process, what we do is we review your business, we review your metrics every quarter, and we look for ways to optimize it. And I want you to understand that Alice is not a one-time cycle, it is an upward spiral. So we start at the bottom with insight, we go through the 5 stages, we move into clarity, we go through the 5 stages, and then we move into growth and we go through the 5 stages. Now, for the record, your journey might not be that rigid. You might look at something and say, well, I have this, but I need that. That's the beautiful thing. We built this as an upward spiral, so it's all about constant and never-ending improvement. So as I mentioned, we have the upward spiral, and I want you to understand that growth is never linear and it's never purely exponential. It's usually something in between. And we see growth as rhythmic. And as long as we're in rhythm with the business, as long as we're in rhythm with our values, we will grow the way we were meant to. So with each pass through Alice, we share and we help you gain more insight, more clarity, and more aligned growth. And I think aligned is the significant term because you want growth that aligns with you as a human. And over time, we enter what we call the greener green path. And this is a little bit mythical, but basically this is the path where you are mastering what you do. You're mastering your business by enhancing your mindset, your skill set, and gear set. And these all align with your strategy. And by the way, mindset is, I think, the one where most people, they pay the least attention until they desperately need it. If you don't have the right mindset, you can't succeed no matter what you do, no matter what your goals are. You need to always work on mindset first. Now, the magic is, there is a saying, when the student is ready, the master or the teacher will appear. When you work on your mindset, you become your own mentor or master or teacher, and you're the student. So with the right mindset, you're going to recognize which skills you need to master and where. And only once you've learned the skills, then you have the insights to be able to master the gear set or the tools that you need to accomplish it. So in all honesty, I've done this. I'm sure some of you have done this. I've had it backwards where I say, what tool do I need to do? So I learn the tool, and then it's like, oh, I needed to learn the skills to be able to use the tool properly. Mindset, who's got time for that? But I promise you, if you get your mindset right, it is where you can make that significant leap forward. Because with the right mindset, the gear set and the skill set self-evident and they appear almost magically. Now, I want to introduce you to Alex Rivers. Alex is truly a figment of my imagination. Now, having said that, Alex is also a mirror. He's a deep reflection of me. And so we built the Pharos Effect. I am Alex. Alex is me, for founders that are visionary, they're neurodivergent, creative. Some people would say brilliant, but honestly, we're often overwhelmed by the noise of business advice that was created as a one size fits all for everyone else. Alex doesn't need another guru. I don't need another guru. You don't need another guru. What Alex needs is a rhythm, one that feels natural, safe, and scalable to him or her. This is not a group just for male visionary founders. It just happens that I'm male and so is Alex. But we do work with female, visionary, neurodiverse, creative, brilliant founders as well. And basically, we built the Pharos Effect to give Alex what he's been missing, structure that honors his soul. And honestly, I've spent so many years of my life following gurus, following mentors, trying to learn new skills, trying to master new tools. I've finally realized that mastering our mindset is the most critical piece. And I know with business, there's especially visionary founders, we get impatient. We want our vision to be released into the world today. But part of this is learning the patience to say, okay, this needs to be done today. This can wait till tomorrow. And through the mastermind, we're going to talk about all of the frameworks we use. But my personal favorite is let's get the minimum viable product ready, get it out to our beta testers, get some feedback. Then we create the next iteration, which is our beta tester project. And then finally, we have our go to market. My goal for everyone, including our founders group, is that we figure out ways to make money to build it rather than wait to get paid until we've built the perfect thing. So my advice is, and I thank Noah Kagan for this, if people aren't willing to pay for it, you don't have something worth selling. So you need to pre-sell or build a little interest before you move forward. Now, I do have an invitation, and this is a sincere invitation. We have what we call the Pharos Founders Circle, and it is a mastermind and more. This isn't just a mastermind, it's a homecoming. And basically, what I would say to you is if hearing about this model feels like a breath of fresh air, you're not alone. You're not broken. You don't need to hustle harder. You need a lighthouse to guide you. This is the Pharos Effect. You are invited, not obligated. You are welcome here, whether you step forward fast, slow, or just want to stay to observe. And when you're ready, we'll light the way. Now, if you're here, it's likely because something in your journey has felt misaligned. Maybe you've led, you've tried all the strategies, and yet it still feels like you're carrying too much, moving too fast, or getting lost in the noise. I want you to know that Pharos, we see you. We built the Pharos Founders Circle for founders like you who are visionary, neurodivergent, deeply creative, often overwhelmed by your own brilliance. This is not about hustle, it's about rhythm. This is not about fixing you, it's about guiding you back to your own inner clarity. Inside the Pharos Founders Circle, we move differently. We attune rather than conform. We grow sustainably, not frenetically. We build from alignment, not anxiety. If you're ready to scale with soul, lead with clarity, and reconnect with your original vision, this is your invitation. It's not a pitch. We don't have a funnel. It's just a genuine founder-to-founder invitation to step into a space that honors how you work and helps you evolve without burning out. You don't need to be more. You just need to remember who you are. If that feels like home, we'll hold the door open for you. Now, I want to thank you. I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot on your plate, but I want to thank you for watching this. And I just want to say sincerely, I've always been criticized. People say you're visionary like it's an insult. And I've met a lot of people who use the visionary integrator language of entrepreneurial operating system, and I've met a few very vigilant, very judgmental implementers who blame visionaries for all the perils in the world. Yet without us visionaries, we wouldn't have bridges, we wouldn't have roads, we wouldn't have airplanes, we wouldn't have space travel. Visionaries are the ones who disrupt things. Our job is literally to pull things apart and wonder how it works and see if we can somehow make it better. And I don't mean incremental better. I mean, can we, you know, I'll look at the car, for example. It's hilarious to me that evolved from a four-wheeled wagon, and how many decades later we still have four-wheeled cars. At some point, I'm sure somebody is going to finally invent that flying car, and I guarantee it's not going to have four tires. And the other weird thing is all cars were built so that we all face forward. And yes, it's a safety thing. But if we got flying cars, maybe we all look out or we all look in. I don't know. Anyways, the point is, if you're a visionary, thank you for your vision. Thank you for your contribution to the world, and welcome home.